Hello, my name is Caroline, and I am the founder of the Good News Network channel, and I am here in Thompson, Ohio at the Ox Shoppe Cafe, and I have some awesome and wonderful news to share with you. The Ox Shoppe Cafe is a coffee shop with bakery goods and an old country store, and they're a nonprofit, and they help people find jobs that might not normally be able to find jobs, that need some extra help. And I've got a great story to share with you, so stay tuned for some awesome news from the Good News Network channel. Hi, my name is Caroline, and I'm the founder of the Good News Network channel, and I'm here with Daryl in Thompson, Ohio at the Ox Shoppe Cafe, and he's going to share with you all the great things he's doing here for the community. Hi, Daryl.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great.
Thank you for doing this interview.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. What can you tell me about your organization?
So the Ox Shoppe is a 501c3 charitable organization that my wife and I started. Mostly, the original idea when we bought this building was a place for us to sell the meat that we produce on the farm to our neighbors, and then we kind of realized there was an opportunity here to do some bigger work. So we started an organization that is designed to help adults with barriers to employment find meaningful and dignified work, and we fundraise for that through the stores that we have, the local food store where you can kind of get your staples for the week. We've got local milk and cheese and meat and all of that stuff. And then we just last week actually opened our coffee shop, so you can get sort of the Target experience with the local feel, right? So you can come in and get coffee and go shopping. And then we've got this space up here where folks can come and just relax and do work or hang out with friends or whatever. So.
Okay, that is very awesome. Do you know how many people you've helped so far find meaningful employment?
Yeah, so we have, so we started 11 months ago, and actually we didn't start really working on the employment program until October. And from October until now, so when we're in the middle of April, we have placed 14 individuals with some sort of barrier to employment in a job that, probably typically on their own they wouldn't be able to get for, various reasons. But we've been able to facilitate that between the employer and the candidate.
And what kind of barriers are
barriers
you helping out with?
Yeah, so we describe barriers as anything from disabilities to being in recovery and sort of dealing with addiction issues to post-incarceration. So there's a whole range of things that we look at. Foster kids coming out of the system who are woefully underprepared to face the world, right? Because of the situations they've been in throughout their life. My wife and I are foster parents as well. We're licensed foster parents. And so we kind of get to see the behind the scenes on that as well. And anything really that really just sets a person up to not have a successful interview, right? If we're sitting across the table from each other, interviewing for a job, if there's something that either, because of disability, interviewing skills are not great, or because of, there might be something on their record because of a decision that was made when they were young, or even as an adult, and they paid their dues to society and are just looking to move on from that. And a lot of times they're overlooked when in fact they can be a really great employee and provide a lot of value to an employer. Okay,
and what kind of meaningful employment do you help?
Yeah, so meaningful, the big thing for us when we describe something as meaningful employment, some of that is financially based, right? I think it's pretty well documented that minimum wage is pretty difficult to live on. Inflation being what it is, it's even harder than it was a year ago or 2 years ago. So, we like to shoot for a living wage. We also understand the realities of the world, right? So some of it is got to sort of work up to that, and we sort of help develop a career path. But the other thing is, there's dignity in work, right? Or there can be and should be dignity in work. And a lot of times, my wife runs a special education program at the local school district. And they spend a lot of time doing vocational training with their students that are in the special ed program and that maybe have had some troubles in school and things like that. And what happens is they leave school and they go into the workplace, and pretty quickly they're handed a broom and they're like patted on the head and say, hey, go sweep the floor, right? And all those vocational skills get tossed right out the window.
Yeah.
And so, looking at an individual's skills and experiences and assets, and then combining, matching those with an employer who has a need for somebody that has those skills and experiences and assets, is really the key to success in this program.
Okay, and how's your experience been matching those together with the client and the businesses?
So we're really lucky here in Geauga County. We've started a program in conjunction with an organization called James Emmett and Company out of Indiana. It's called Counties of Inclusion, where we're working with local employers to train them and help them understand what is an inclusive interviewing and onboarding process. How do we make that experience more attainable and more accessible to maybe an adult with disability or somebody who hasn't been exposed to a lot of, I think we all bristle a little bit when we look at our tax form. We're like, how many dependents do we have? Do I count as a dependent? Am I not in it? Right? And all of these questions it's complicated, right? And so it's even more complicated when you haven't been exposed to it, or if you just have trouble understanding some stuff like that, but still have, again, meaningful assets and experiences that the employer can get from that. So we've been working with employers to really build bridges on that front. And sometimes it takes a couple weeks or a month or whatever to really find that connection that works. But for the most part, we've been really successful at like making that bridge and finding that pairing. And each of our folks that we have found positions for have really thrived in the opportunities that we found for them.
Do you have a favorite candidate matchup that you've done so far?
I mean, there are a lot of there's a lot of really interesting ones. I think probably the best one that we've had so far, the one that really as we look at it, we can, I think it sort of feels like the one we hit out of the park, right? To use a sports metaphor. It was one of the early ones that we had. She came to us. She kind of showed up at our house and was like, "Hey, I heard you're doing this program. I'm on the spectrum. I have ADHD, but I've got a degree, and I really want to put that to use." And so she worked with us for a little bit. She worked with a local retailer for a little bit, but she really wanted to get into helping kids with disabilities, right? Drawing on her own experience, and within about 3 or 4 months, we were able to sort of pivot from where she was, and we were able to find her a position with a local special needs focused school, where she is now, she's thriving, doing really great, helping the kids in that program really succeed and sort of find their own path and maximize their potential and their value, despite having a disability. Like 10 years ago, we would have looked at it and said, well, that kid, hopefully they'll amount to something. And kind of selfishly, it's exciting because it's at the school where my son goes. And so, kind of getting to see that cycle and see hope for my son as well is really cool. So.
Okay, awesome. So I hear that you're doing a lot with connecting people with businesses and careers, which is awesome for Thompson, Ohio and Ohio. Yeah. So that's awesome news.
Yeah, well, and really, I mean, it's not isolated at Thompson. We currently have, of the 14 folks that we've placed, we have individuals working in all 4 extreme corners of Geauga County, right? So Thompson, down just south of Middlefield, we have one over in Bainbridge, a couple over in Chardon. We've got some folks up in Mentor and Madison. And so, we've really branched out and, tried to make sure that folks understand that just because we have the old feed mill here on Thompson Square, right, in this small little community, that this isn't just Thompson. This is about, the northeast corner of northeast corner of Ohio, and really just making an impact as big as we can, right? Because it's needed very much.
And I know it's hard just for people in general to find jobs without barriers.
100%.
I find.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and right now we're in a weird time, because if you go on like an Indeed or some of these job sites, right, it looks like there's all these positions available. But on the flip side, it's so easy to apply for them that everybody's applying for everything. So you're putting yourself in a lottery situation. A lot of times these positions that are up there don't even actually exist, and companies are building candidate pools so that when they do have a position open, they're not pulling from that. They're just going back and looking at the resumes that they've logged from previous, from sort of building this pool. And so it is a very weird, it's a very weird time to be looking for a job, for sure, as the market kind of changes, and as we come out of like the post-remote world, and a lot of companies are going back to in-person. There's just a lot of variables that have changed over the last year.
And if somebody wanted to help your cause, what could they do to help your program?
Absolutely. So number one is just shop in our stores. We got the store here in Thompson. We got the coffee shop here in Thompson. We got the coffee shop up in Madison. Every dollar that's spent here, about 25 cents of that goes toward the mission, if we're operating at full efficiency. But we do have a donate now button on our website, which is www.theoxshoppe.org, and shop is SHOPPE, like the old British spelling. So you can make a donation there, or you can reach out to either Dawn or I, Dawn at brokenyokeranch.com or Daryl at brokenyokeranch.com, and just reach out and say, hey, I've got some time, I'd love to volunteer, or is there anything I can do to help out with your mission? If you happen to know an employer that's looking for folks and open to the idea of hiring folks either with disabilities or post-incarceration or criminal history or whatever, then we'd love to hear about it, because we continually get new referrals, either from our partners at the Board of DD or the drug court or the jail or wherever. We're continually getting self-referrals. We're continually getting new folks looking for assistance, and all of them are just looking for dignified work.
Well, thank you, Daryl, for your time today.
You're very welcome.
And sharing your story. And stay tuned for some more good news from the Good News Network channel.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
That's a wrap.
All right, so welcome to the Ox Shoppe Cafe, where we opened about a week ago, and we have big plans for this place. So it started with the fact that from Thompson, it's 15 minutes in any direction to get a decent cup of coffee and some pastry. And so we decided that the best thing we could do for the community was give them a coffee shop where they could come and kind of hang out. And of course, I'm selfishly excited about it because I love coffee, and I'm making myself a Black Forest mocha at the moment. So some cherry, some chocolate, and then with some espresso. And so we plan on, this will be open the same time as the store, and we're going to have pretzels and wraps, and we're going to do bone broth, and we'll have some salads and stuff like that here at the shop. And again, all of it is part of the nonprofit organization. So, if we have somebody that, for instance, they come to us and they say, oh, I don't know really what my skills are. I've never really had a meaningful job before. And we say, well, do you have customer service experience? They may say, I don't know, I've never done it. And so we've got a perfect opportunity for them to learn and try. But then we can also do some job skills coaching and stuff like that, and just see how well people learn and things like that. So we have that, but it's also the nonprofit. It's the it's the ability for us to raise money for our mission as well. Hold on, this is gonna be loud. So we're steaming the milk, and this makes a nice little froth out of the milk, and is what keeps the coffee nice and hot. And with a little bit of experience, we can kind of tell when it's done with touch. But we also will, for the new folks, we'll use the thermometer to get the temperature right. And then with any luck, I'll be able to kind of do a little bit of fancy latte art. Yeah, this one's not going to work out, but it'll still be a great cup of
delicious.
coffee. Yeah, it'll still be a good cup. We have donuts and fry pies and everything. We get them from the Amish Country Market. Everything's local. So the donuts and fry pies come from Middlefield. All of our bakeries, Katie's Cakes in Madison. We have bagels over there from JT's Bagels up in Conneaut. And so we just try and make it as local as possible with everything that we do. In our video, you saw me drinking kombucha from Keystone Cultures, which is over in Pennsylvania. So it really is just as local as possible, because in addition to helping adults with barriers to employment, we really want to create a local food culture here in Northeast Ohio, where folks know they can get a whole bunch of stuff made locally, know where it comes from, know what quality it is, and know how it was raised and produced and all that stuff. So even the milk and the coffee came from the cow on Monday, I believe, because we got the milk delivered on Tuesday. So.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the Good News Network channel about your mission?
We just appreciate everybody and any support that the Good News Network community can provide to us, even if that's just sharing the story and telling people about what we're doing here. So we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks again, and have a great day, everybody. And thanks for watching the Good News Network channel.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. That's
Bye.
Bye.